Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Suship deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is an extremely fun XZ deck that can OTK your opponent extremely easily. I've included some spicy tech cards in this build for you guys, so without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Gunkan Suship Shari. This card is one of the most important cards in the entire deck to be able to use to make your XZ plays. This card is an extremely awesome card and it actually comes out as a 2000 attack point vanilla monster. We then play 3 copies of Shari Red. Shari Red is definitely a 3-up in the build, and this card is so cool because this card's name becomes Gunkan Suship Shari while on the hand, deck, graveyard, or while on the field, which is why you can actually play 3 of each of these cards, because it specifically says these specific places and doesn't say this card is always treated as your copy of Shari. It actually specifically says all the different places, which is a really cool way around it. But this card is a really awesome ability that basically you can reveal one other copy of Shari in your hand to special summon this card from your hand. Then you can apply this effect to special summon a Gunkan monster from your deck, except another copy of this card, but negate its effects, if any, and it also has the ability that then you special summon from your X deck one XZ monster that mentions that monster, which is such a cool ability to be able to do by name, using that monster and this card as a material to be able to make an XZ play, which is so cool to be able to do, and I love that about this card, that it just helps you out so easily make XZ plays with Shari Red. We then play 3 copies of Ikora. Ikora is a great extender in this build because if you control a copy of Shari, then you can special summon this card from your hand, which is a really cool effect just to instantly get this card out in your side of the field. And during your main phase, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can either add to your hand or special summon one excavated copy of Shari, also shuffle the rest back into your deck, which is a really cool effect because we basically play 6 copies of Shari with this card's ability. We then play 3 copies of Uni. Uni's definitely a 3-of and helps us go into one of our most powerful boss monsters. And this card is really awesome in the deck, so let you reveal a copy of a Gunkan card in your hand to special summon this card from your hand, then apply the following effect based on the revealed card. If it was a copy of Shari, you can special summon the revealed monster, and if it wasn't a copy of Shari, you place the revealed monster on the bottom of the deck. But this card helps you make your copies of your rank 5 monsters because it lets you target a copy of a Gunkan monster you control and change its level to 4 or 5. Then you can add a Gunkan Suship Shari from your deck to your hand, which is a really cool effect that it sets you up for another play, which is just really cool for this card to be able to do. We then play a single copy of Icefish. Icefish is just a good 1-of in the build, but you only need a single copy of this card, and it helps out a lot in the deck, but I feel like 1 is all you need, because if you control a copy of Shari or an XZ monster that has a copy of Shari as a material, you can special summon this card from your hand, making it a pretty good extender in the deck. We then play 2 copies of Water Enchantress. Water Enchantress is definitely a 2-of in the build. We also play a copy of Foolish Burial to basically be the 3rd copy of this card to help us get into our adventure package, but this card is really good in the deck as a 2-of to help us get to our copy of Rite of Arameser. We then play a single copy of Wandering Griffin Rider. Wandering Griffin Rider is really good as a 1-of in the build, because this card helps out a lot in the deck overall as a walking negate to be able to work with our Fateful Adventure and our adventure cards. We then play a single copy of Dolgaran. Dolgaran is really good as a 1-of in the deck to be able to use as a small world bridge, but it's also a great kaiju to be able to basically tribute over an opponent's monster if you do draw into it. But the cool thing is this card has nothing in common with any of our Suship cards except that it is a fire monster, making this card basically the perfect small world bridge to go into any of our cards. We then play 2 copies of Gameciel. Gameciel is really good just in case you need to give your opponent the turtle. This card is a really good card to be able to tribute over your opponent's monsters to make sure you're going to have a safe target to attack into. And this card is just overall fantastic in the deck. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is great in the deck as a 3-of just to stop your opponent from touching the deck, and it's just an overall really good hand trap, especially to stop your opponent from touching the deck and searching cards. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get in to the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is really important as a 1-of in the deck to be able to get our copy of Water Enchantress into the graveyard so we can basically use it to go in for a copy of Rite of Arameser. We then play a single copy of Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing is really awesome in the deck because you use this card to be able to work with your copy of Utopia Double so you can get a 10,000 attack point monster. By making a copy of Utopia Double, you can then detach a material to search this card from the deck and make a copy of Utopia on top of your copy of Utopia Double. Your copy of Utopia will come out with 5,000 attack points. You then attack into an opponent's monster, detach a material to negate the attack, drop Double or Nothing, and attack again, doubling the attack of your Utopia up to 10,000, which is amazing to be able to go in for game using that because it's so easy to OTK your opponent with Utopia Double. We then play 2 copies of Gunkin Suship Catch of the Day. Catch of the Day is really good as a 2-of in the build. I have bumped this card down a little bit, but it's still really good in the build. As it has the ability once per turn, you can reveal a copy of Shari in your hand and place a counter on this card. And if you do, you get to reveal a Gunkin XZ monster in your extract, and your opponent declares 1 Gunkin monster card name, except a copy of Shari that's mentioned on any Gunkin XZ monster, which is why we play at least 1 copy of every single name in the deck. Then you get to add the declared card from your deck to your hand. And if you cannot add, you shuffle this card into the deck. And if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, your opponent pays exactly 500 life points for each counter on this card, which is going to do a little bit of burn damage to your opponent if they decide to deal with this card, but I feel like 2 is all you need in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Painful Decision. Painful Decision is really good as a 3-of in this build because this card helps out so much to send a level 4 lower null monster from your deck to the graveyard. And if you do, you get to add a copy of a monster with the same name as that card from your deck to your hand, which is really good to work with your copy of Shari and Shari Red, since your copy of Shari Red counts as your copy of Shari in the deck, which is just really amazing to be able to work with this card. We then play 3 copies of Small World. Small World is definitely a 3-of in the deck, so we have a lot of bridges in the deck to get to the exact cards that you need. But this card is really good in the deck, especially to work with our copy of Dolgaram because it is a fire dinosaur monster that basically has nothing in common with any of our Suship cards, which is really cool to be able to use it in the deck as a bridge to be able to get to the exact cards that we need. We then play 3 copies of Rite of Arameser. Rite of Arameser is really good because it helps us get to a copy of Fateful Adventure while also giving us an adventure token that summons out to our side of the field as a Fairy Earth level 4 2000 attack and 2000 defense, which is great to be able to use with this card. We then play a single copy of Fateful Adventure. Fateful Adventure is really good to be able to use for our adventure package because it helps us get to all of our different pieces and it's just a fantastic card overall. We then play a single copy of Dracoback. Dracoback is really good in this deck and is the best equip spell in the adventure archetype. But this card is really good because it helps us bounce cards off the field and it's just a fantastic card for the adventure package. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 3, and that's going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Impermanence is just really good overall in this deck, as this card helps you out a lot in this build to just stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps, which is just really good overall. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start off with 2 copies of our Uni class Super Dreadnought. This card is so good. I absolutely love the Uni class Dreadnought, which is just so cool to be able to make in this deck. And it's really easy to make with your copy of Uni in the deck and a copy of Shari. And you usually want to make it that way because it gets bonus effects if you use a copy of Shari and Uni to make this card. If this card is XZ summon, you can apply the effects in sequence based on the different materials that you use for this card. If you use a copy copy of Shari, you get to draw a card. If you use a copy of Uni, then this card gains the ability to be able to attack directly, which is a really cool effect to be able to use with this card. It also has the ability once per turn during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase. Quick effect, you can target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of Gunkin monsters that you control and special summon from the extract and negate their effects, which is a really cool effect to be able to use with this card. We then play 2 copies of the Ikura class Dreadnought. This card is also really good to be able to make with your copy of Ikura and a copy of Uni, because if you use a copy of Uni, you get to draw a card. If you use a copy of Ikura, it can make a second attack during that battle phase, during each battle phase, and once per turn, when your Gunkin monster special summon from the extract inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target a card your opponent controls and destroy it, which is a great effect for this card to have. We also play a single copy of Carrier. Carrier is just a good one out of the deck, just in case your opponent calls it out with your copy of Catch of the Day. You don't usually make this card all that often, but it's still a really good option. If you do make it with its appropriate materials, you get to draw a card for Shari, and for Ice Fish, you get to add a Gunkin spell or trap from your deck to your hand, essentially going to be another copy of Catch of the Day, which is pretty helpful to be able to do, and it's just a really good card overall as a 1-up, but you only need a single copy. We then play a single copy of Baguska. Baguska is just really good, just in case you need to basically lock down the field and slow down the game. 1 copy of Daigusto Emerald. We do work with normal monsters in this deck, so this card comes in really handy to be able to target a non-effect monster in the graveyard and special summon it, which helps us make more XZ plays and also helps us shuffle cards back in the deck and then draw a card, which is really good to be able to basically just put 3 monsters back, especially if we go through a bunch of copies of Shari. We can put them back to be able to draw a card, which is really helpful. Play a single copy of number 60. Number 60 can double the attack of a monster. Let's bring a monster back from the graveyard, or let's just draw 2 and discard a card, which is just absolutely crazy for this card to be able to do. This card is definitely a 1-of in the build. Play a single copy of Utopia Double. Utopia Double is amazing in this deck, is you basically just detach a material from this card and then search out a copy of Double or Nothing, overlay a copy of Utopia on top of your copy of Utopia Double, and once you do, Utopia comes out at 5,000 attack points. You then attack into an opponent's monster, drop your effect of your Utopia to negate the attack, then drop your copy of Double or Nothing to go back in for 10,000 attack points, which is insane to be able to win the game, especially if your opponent has a monster on the field that has 2,000 or less attack points and they're at a perfect 8,000, you instantly win to OTK, which is really cool. We then play a single copy of Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger. You can make this on top of your copy of your Uni class Super Dreadnought, which is really cool because it is a rank 5 or 6 XZ monster, making it super easy to make to give your Zeus an additional material. We play a single copy of F-Zero because we play so many different XZ monsters to be able to make it, and then we play a single copy of Draco Future because again, it's very easy to make in this build, plus it's a really good card overall to be able to make because it can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects, and also it's a monster negate that can take control of a monster if that monster was on the field when it negated it. Then we play a single copy of AA Zeus. I did consider running multiple copies of this card, but I feel like 1 is really all you need for Zeus because once you activate it, you're probably going to win, and it's just a fantastic card to be able to make during main 2, especially when you use your copy of Gaia Dragon to make it. We then play a single copy of Typhon. Typhon just puts in work. This card is just really good overall because it just spot removes cards off the field. It's very easy to make in this build, and then plus none of our monsters really have more than 3,000, so it's very easy outside of cards like F-Zero having 3,000 and AA Zeus having 3,000. Your Uni class actually has 2,900, making it very easy to be able to make it while Uni's on the field, which is really cool to be able to do. Plus this card is just really good in just about any deck. So that's it for the deck, guys. I would enjoy it. If you guys have never played Suship before, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's so fun to be able to play, and it's actually relatively budget to build, which is really nice because basically everything for Suship has been printed basically as like a common or a super rare, making it really easy for anybody to pick up this deck, which is really nice, and I absolutely love playing Suship. So that's gonna do for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.